I believe strongly that you've worked hard for your retirement and you should fully enjoy it. And if you just change that sentence around just a little bit, you've spent a lot of money putting it into the Social Security system. Shouldn't you maximize that during this next chapter of life? I'm going to share with you a little bit about how to make sure that happens. But before we get there, make sure that you subscribe to our channel and click the link below so you can be notified when we post new videos. So let me share with you my screen for just a moment, because there was a very important study that was authored about a year and a half ago that I want to show you what their conclusion was. In June of 2019, United Income published a study. Its headline was, "Americans Lose Trillions Claiming Social Security at the Wrong Time." They showed that most people are claiming benefits at the wrong time, and it said that 96% of retirees choose the wrong year to tap into Social Security. The chief executive officer, Matt Fellows, said people are pretty much doing the opposite of what they should be doing, and most people are better off waiting until 70 to claim. 43% of adults actually better off claiming before 70. And the big takeaway? By claiming at the right time, more than half of retirees would see income in their 70s and 80s rise by more than 25%. With that study in mind, again, you've put a lot of money into the Social Security system. Shouldn't you be making the right decision? But there's 567 different choices if you haven't done this before. We only reach the age of 62 or 67 or 70 once in a lifetime, right? How many times have we had to make this decision? And it must be a very well-informed decision, because it could cost you tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime for your household. So let's take a look at 5 of the biggest mistakes baby boomers make. So it seems to be just a part of our gut reaction that since we reach 62 and we're eligible for Social Security, that therefore we should take it. Unfortunately, for most people, it's the wrong decision to make, and upwards of somewhere in the vicinity of 40% of people do claim at 62 their Social Security strategy, and over the long term, it could cost them thousands of dollars. So let's take a look. Now, I know that when you reach age 62 and you figure you can start getting those checks, it's a good idea. However, we're going to take a look here at the numbers to see that that is probably not the case. So let's assume that your full retirement age, where you get 100% of your benefit at age 67. And that right now, let's assume you're age 62. And we're also going to assume there's a 2.6% annual cost of living increase looking forward, which is the cost of increase for the cost of living that the trustees say that they expect looking forward. So if you were to take your benefit right now at age 62, you see in the column percentage of PIA, you would only get 70% of your benefit if you started at 62, or $1,960. Versus if you waited to age 67, you go to the middle column, you get 100% of the full amount, so $2,800. And if you come down to the bottom at age 70, you'll see again in that middle column that 28 would grow at 8% per year, and you would get $3,472. But that's only part of the story, because you not only get the 8%, you also get the cost of living increase, if there is one. And assuming it's just 2.6%, at age 67, your $2,800 is actually going to be about $3,183 on the last column. And if you waited to age 70, you actually get about a 75% increase to $4,263. Now, it's not just as straightforward as that in terms of the math, because the planning has to be included in the decision-making process. And that's where the 7-step process that we've put together is so vital in terms of helping you become more informed about which one of the many decisions to make. One of the considerations you have to understand is, if you are married and you are the primary worker, so therefore your Social Security benefit is larger than your spouse's, the year you take that initial Social Security benefit is the year that your surviving spouse, when you're no longer here, is going to be pegged their benefits when they're widowed. So if you have a $1,960 benefit initially, and then you pass, your survivor's benefit is going to be pegged off the $1,960. Versus if you waited to age 70 and you had that $4,200 benefit, that surviving spouse's benefit is going to be pegged against that $4,200. So it's not only important during your lifetime to make this the right decision in terms of current income, but in the future, and that's what planning's all about, the various stages of retirement, it's also important to consider the surviving spouse and how much he or she will be getting when you're no longer here. Now, mistake number 2 is failure to coordinate the spousal benefits. I was just talking about that. So oftentimes we just take a look at what is our benefit going to be, but you really have to look at, if you're married, the household income. And the real question is, at what point in time are you better to take yours? And if I'm married and my wife has to figure out how she's going to maximize her benefit as well, is she better off to take 50% of mine at some point, or all of hers? Or do I wait and defer my income? And more than that, it's again, getting back to the planning. What income do you need? What income is coming in outside of Social Security? What monies do you have in your retirement accounts and your personal accounts? How old are you? What is your health situation? And what is your life expectancy? All of this has to come into play. So it's not just as simply a single decision about, I want to claim at this age. It's coordinating the spousal benefits. And we already talked about the surviving spouse, right? Making sure that you take into account the fact that one of you is going to survive the other. So it's very, very important to make sure that when you make this decision, you bring in all of these elements so that you are confident that you are maximizing the Social Security benefits for your household income. So mistake number 3 is, well, gee, I'm eligible for Social Security at 62. I'm still working, and I'm not yet my full retirement age. I'm not 66 or 67 at this point. And I decide that I want to take Social Security. So instead of giving you a whole bunch of numbers on the screen, I want to share with you a story. So I had a client numbers of years ago, and Betty had decided that she wanted to take her grandkids to Disney. And she was working at the time part-time, and she thought it was going to take somewhere around an $8,000 expense to take the grandkids at that time to Disney for a week. She was really excited. And I said, well, wait a second. How are we going to pay for this? She says, I'm going to work a little bit extra to earn the $8,000 so I can take the kids and really create some wonderful memories. So I said, okay, let's take a look at the numbers. So I had a conversation with her accountant, and we took a look at the numbers. And unfortunately for Betty, because she was before the age of her full retirement age, and she had decided to take Social Security early, believe it or not, she was going to have to pay in the vicinity of 75% of the $8,000 she was going to earn extra part-time, because she had hit the thresholds with regards to both her earned income and the money that she had to give back to Social Security because she was working before her full retirement age. So it's very, very important to understand. Yes, you can get your Social Security before full retirement age if you're still working. But you really need to look at the numbers and see the charts to see whether or not it makes any sense. So the fourth mistake that people make, baby boomers particularly, is not signing up for my statement. What is my statement? So for years, Social Security delivered to you every single year a paper statement that showed what your expected Social Security benefit would be. Because it was so costly, they cut back completely on that. But a couple years ago, they started again to deliver the Social Security statements, but only to those who were over 60 who had yet to claim their benefit. So you now are not really fully informed about what your benefit could be. So signing up for my statement will give you the information you need to understand what your benefit might be. But more important than that, once you sign up for my statement, then you pretty much eliminate the ability for hackers to use your Social Security number and to get benefits off of your pool of money. Because you've put a stake in your number and said, this is mine, this is me. So whether you're getting Social Security or not, and if you are, you had to automatically sign up for my statement. So if you're not getting Social Security, if you're a year away, if you're 10 years away, sign up for my statement. It's very, very easy. You can see where you can go right here, www.socialsecurity.gov/my statement. Sign up. It only takes a few minutes to sign up. You'll set up a password, eliminate the access to your Social Security number by hackers, and understand if anybody has taken your Social Security benefit already. It could have happened and you may not have known it. And also understand, what your benefit could be in the future so you can do a better job of planning for your retirement future. Now, the fifth and final piece of advice, and certainly with 567 different strategies, there's a lot to this, and I haven't shared with you all the numbers. This video could go on for hours. But the fifth one that's really important is to understand where to get the right advice so that you are fully informed. So let me take you to my screen for just a moment. Now, you would believe intuitively that if you go down to the Social Security Administration office when they're open, that you would be able to depend on their advice and guidance. So let me show you what they can and what they can't say to you. They can provide to you an estimate of what your individual benefits are. And they can tell you the amount you are entitled to now. What they cannot do is project future benefits through scenario planning and to help with innovative strategies designed to maximize benefits, because the reality is they can't provide that type of guidance. Unfortunately, we have heard at my office all too many times poor advice or poor guidance from my clients who had gone to the Social Security Administration offices or had called them on the phone. So it was very important to us to create that resource for them so that they could get that type of guidance and to maximize their benefits, which is why we created the 7 calculators that we now have. So again, the fifth mistake is relying on a resource that is not designed to provide you with the type of advanced guidance and strategies you need to maximize your benefits. This is why in my latest book, Don't Outlive Your Money in Retirement, that we provided a frequently asked questions checklist to answer many of the questions that you might have with regards to maximizing your Social Security. And if you're interested in more about the 7 steps that we have, make sure that you view the rest of our videos on our playlist.